Woke up thinking it was a dream until single dad found Billionaire touched his lips and said, Have you ever had a moment so surreal, so impossible, that you convinced yourself it had to be a dream? Marcus Williams had that exact feeling when he woke up in a hospital bed, his 6-year-old daughter Emma asleep in the chair beside him, and a complete stranger standing at the foot of his bed with tears in his eyes. The stranger was wearing an expensive suit, but what caught Marcus's attention wasn't the designer watch or the polished shoes. It was the way this man looked at him, like he'd just witnessed a miracle. And when the billionaire reached forward, gently touched his own lips, pointed at Marcus, and whispered the single word "you," everything Marcus thought he knew about his life was about to change forever. But before we dive into this incredible story of kindness that will restore your faith in humanity, make sure you're subscribed to Heartfelt Moments. Hit that like button if you believe in the power of compassion, and drop a comment telling us about a time someone's kindness changed your life. We read every single one, and your stories inspire us to keep sharing these beautiful moments. Now let's get back to Marcus and discover how one selfless act created a ripple effect that touched thousands of lives. 3 days earlier, Marcus was running on empty in every possible way. The single father worked 2 jobs, stocking shelves at a grocery store during the day and cleaning office buildings at night, just to keep a roof over Emma's head and food on their table. His ex-wife had left when Emma was just a baby, deciding that motherhood wasn't for her, leaving Marcus to figure out parenting on his own. He never complained, though. Emma was his entire world, his reason for pushing through exhaustion that settled deep into his bones. That Tuesday started like any other. Marcus dropped Emma off at school, headed to his morning shift, and spent 8 hours lifting boxes and organizing inventory. His back ached, his hands were rough and calloused, but he smiled through it all. During his lunch break, he sat in his beat-up Honda Civic, eating a peanut butter sandwich and watching videos of Emma on his phone, her laughter filling the car and giving him strength to finish the day. But everything changed at 2:47 p.m. Marcus was walking to his car in the grocery store parking lot when he heard screaming. A woman was yelling for help near the busy intersection adjacent to the lot. Without thinking, without hesitating for even a second, Marcus dropped his backpack and ran toward the commotion. A little boy, maybe 4 years old, had wandered into the street, chasing a ball. Cars were speeding by, and the child was frozen in fear right in the middle of the road. Marcus didn't calculate the risk. He didn't think about his own safety or the fact that Emma needed him. He just saw a child in danger and knew he had to act. He sprinted into traffic, horns blaring around him, brakes squealing. He scooped the little boy into his arms and dove toward the sidewalk. He made it. The boy was safe, crying but unharmed in his mother's arms within seconds. But Marcus wasn't so lucky. In those final moments as he pushed the child to safety, an SUV clipped him hard. He felt himself spinning through the air, then everything went black. The little boy Marcus saved was named Christopher, and his father was Richard Chen, a tech billionaire worth over $3 billion. Richard had been working late at his downtown office when he got the call that changed everything. His ex-wife, hysterical, told him that their son had nearly been killed, but a stranger, a hero, had saved him. That same hero was now in critical condition at Memorial Hospital. Richard dropped everything. He canceled meetings, left his assistant to handle a major product launch, and raced to the hospital. When he arrived, he found Marcus in surgery, fighting for his life with a ruptured spleen and severe internal injuries. The doctors said it would be close. Richard sat in that waiting room for 7 hours, staring at the walls replaying the security footage the police had shown him over and over on his phone. This man, this stranger, had risked everything for Christopher, without a moment's hesitation. In those 7 hours, Richard made phone calls. He learned everything about Marcus Williams. He discovered that Marcus was a single father, working himself to the bone for his daughter. He found out about the medical bills Marcus already couldn't afford, about the eviction notice on his apartment door, about the car that barely ran, and the dreams Marcus had quietly buried, so Emma could have a chance at a better life. When Marcus finally came out of surgery, stable but weak, Richard made a decision. This wasn't about paying a debt. This was about recognizing the rarest kind of human being, someone who embodied pure, selfless kindness. Richard set up a trust fund for Emma's education, paid off every cent of Marcus's medical bills, and offered Marcus a position at his company with a salary that would let him work one job and actually be present for his daughter. But he didn't stop there. Richard established the Marcus Williams Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting single parents in financial crisis. He donated $10 million to start it, and the story of Marcus's heroism went viral, inspiring millions more in donations from people around the world who were moved by one man's incredible act of kindness. When Marcus woke up 3 days later and Richard explained everything, touching his lips and pointing at Marcus with that single word, it wasn't just gratitude. It was recognition. Richard was saying, "You are the reason my son is alive. You are the reason I still get to be a father. You showed me what true character looks like." Today, Marcus works alongside Richard, helping run the foundation that bears his name. He picks Emma up from school every day, tucks her in every night, and watches her thrive in ways he once thought impossible. But more importantly, his story has inspired countless others to act with kindness, to help strangers, to believe that one person really can make a difference. Marcus never thought of himself as a hero. He just saw a child who needed help. But that's the beautiful truth about kindness. It doesn't require wealth or power or recognition. It just requires a willing heart and the courage to act when it matters most. And sometimes, that single act of compassion creates waves that reach farther than we could ever imagine, touching lives, changing futures, and reminding us all of the incredible good that lives inside humanity. So the next time you see someone who needs help, remember Marcus. Remember that your kindness matters. You never know whose life you might save, or whose heart you might change, or what beautiful chain reaction you might set in motion. Be the reason someone believes in goodness again.